Okay, Jessup, before we record, did you want to see any screens, or not screens,
Screens? We're talking about
paint,
screens now, Mason?
paint schemes?
Yes,
Sure,
Joseph, do you want
why
to see
not?
any screams?
Welcome back, everyone, to the Track Packers podcast for episode 2 of season 5. We hope everyone is enjoying their spring. Hopefully, we're on the tail end of the winter shenanigans. We got myself, Mason, along with Mr. John Breckle and Jessup Pelkey for this episode. John, how are you doing this lovely evening?
I'm doing very well, Mason. It is a beautiful Saturday. We are taping this on a Saturday night. Very odd. Usually we do them on weeknights. But we're doing it on a Saturday night, and it's weekend time frame. And I am really hoping in a couple weeks we get to start racing.
Yes, the time is ticking down very fast for racing. Jessup, how are you doing on this Saturday night?
Oh, just lovely, Mason. It's Saturday. I'm in my basement wondering what is going on and which cars look good and which one John will tell me is a dress up special.
Well, like we have found out even before we hit the actual like show start, we don't really know what Jessup likes or doesn't like these days. It's kind of an ever evolving thing.
It
Well,
really
it's
is,
very
Mason.
simple. Don't put clutter on your car.
Well, I guess that's fair enough. There can be some cars that there's a lot going on, and they probably try to stick every color under the sun. But
Look,
yeah,
if your car starts with a black beginning of like the hood and the nose is all black, and then it transitions into scallops and racing stripes between three different colors that aren't even related to the one at the beginning. And then you start transitioning into a third or fourth or fifth color and design by the numbers. And if your numbers are all wacky and you have four different outline colors for your each number that is changing as it goes around the number, and then you get to the back and it's got a totally different color on it, you probably did too much. If your sponsors are playing hide and go seek on your car, probably not going to make my list.
yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, I just realized I forgot to hit send on a message to a friend. There you go. There he's got pictures now.
You hear that, everybody? Mason is already forgetting things.
Already forgetting things.
And with that, John, we bring out the first caution flag on Mason for forgetting his friend.
Well, to be fair, I almost forgot one of my cameras at a race shop because I've been visiting race shops the last couple weeks, and I literally almost left without the camera. I'm like, wow, in mid-season form already. So the racing season is going to go great with that start. But I've been trying to keep busy with racing stuff besides the video projects, trying to get out to shops to see how people are progressing. Some are they still got a few weeks left before they're racetrack ready. But a couple of them I saw today got their cars all stickered and wrapped up, and so they're pretty close to hitting the track. And we'll see when the first race in our area starts to happen here in the next week or 2 weeks. But hope everyone out there is enjoying the off season still, and want to thank all you watchers and listeners. Shout out to Ty Wilkie who watched the show last week. I do have his paint scheme. He sent me a mock-up, so I'll be sure to share that with the group here once we get to our latest and greatest schemes. So thank you, Ty, for checking out the show. So with that, we're going to get right into the episode, but of course, you notice that the starting lineup is a little bit jumbled right now. Usually we have a set lineup, but since it's the beginning of the year, we have to draw for our spots. So we have to do that right now. So we
Yay.
have a number picker wheel, as I share my screen here in just a moment. between 1 and 100, and lowest number gets the closer to the front starting spot, and you draw 99, 100, somewhere towards there, you're probably starting in the back. So, Jessup, since you were the reigning three-time, I don't know what the heck you want to call yourself, champion, you want to draw first?
Sure.
Okay.
I will
Let's see
boldly
here.
pick where no person goes. Probably the back.
Well, we're bucket list this week, so she'll be starting in the rear of the field come the next episode that
Oh,
she
look, I'm
joins.
at the back of the
Oh,
pack.
this is perfect.
Hey, hold on.
91.
I thought you said this
That
was
is
a
the best
randomized
number
wheel.
possible for him.
Mason, I
What's
thought you
that?
said this was a randomized wheel.
It is.
What?
It was very
Hey,
No,
random
it's
for you.
not.
It
It's
already
all in order.
so, but the wheel knew that you needed to be in the
That's
90s.
not how the wheel works.
How do you know? What does the computer show you when you draw at the draw
Well,
shack?
This is true. You
High
have no
Limit
idea
has
from the
just a
draw shack.
regular Vegas wheel. Why can't we have that instead of just all in order? That's not fair.
Here, you want to
Oh,
respin?
Random
let's
digits.
respin. I hope he gets a 95.
No, there we go.
I shuffled the
That's what
numbers,
we
so
want.
now they're not in complete order.
Oh,
He's gonna get the 2, isn't he?
ah,
That's better. 75. Perfect.
Okay, 75. All
And
right,
just
I
like
can't
that,
remember.
Jessup is still starting in the back.
Okay, I think did I finish in front of
You
you,
should
John?
you should go next, Mason.
Okay, we'll see here. Odds are in my favor. I'm starting in
good
front of
old
Jessup, so
98.
that's helpful. Maybe not. That's not. Those aren't good numbers. Nope. Great. Great. Okay.
Guess who's back? Back again.
Okay, John. The odds are in your favor.
I'll probably draw the 100.
Oh, please.
No,
85. Let's
Ah!
jeez Louise.
I
All
think
right.
the wheel.
Oh,
That's so that means
Hey,
Jessup
Jessup, you're
goes
on the
first.
pole. I'm on the outside. I'll take it.
John, it's just like last season all over again.
Yes, it is. It's very
Yeah.
much just like that. We kind of were
You're
leading the
right up
pack last
front.
season.
The Hard
Okay, so
Chargers.
I think I got the lineup set up because it's still 3 wide on my screen, but it shows up as 2x2 or 2x1 once we get to the actual recording. So there we go. Lineup is set with Jessup on the pole, Johnny outside front row, and me taking up tail end Charlie to start off season 2 of season 5, and we'll get the show going with the waving of the green flag and get into who or what we are repping with Jessup going first.
Well, I brought out an old KCU status.
Ooh.
We got this was it last year or the year before? I think it was last year because of all the tornadoes we had. It's the Not My First Race NATO hoodie, limited edition. A lot of you probably missed out, so I feel pretty special about that.
Well, if we have another summer like we had last year, you never know. There could be a second round of merchandise.
Could
We
be,
shall see.
could be.
Hopefully not. It was annoying enough to deal with 10 to 15 inches of snow, depending on where you're at. Or I guess in Jamestown, they had 16 and a half from what I heard. So
They got a lot. Yep.
Sounds like they're not going to be doing much. There's snow built up everywhere.
I did drive by the track today. The pits are a muck pit.
Ah,
It is very wet. Awesome shirt, Jessup. I actually did see Casey's card today, and it's way different. We'll probably talk a little bit more about that in latest and greatest paint schemes. John, what are you repping?
I'm repping a driver that has his car in the car show for the mall right now. I am repping a last year's Austin Weist 471 Legend shirt that has his paint scheme on the back from last year. Last year, I think Austin picked up a handful of wins and also a track championship over at the Southwest Speedway. So I am repping Austin's car, which looks very nice over at the Dakota Speedway Mall Show.
I agree. When I saw pictures of that car, I'm like, ooh, nice. A little change up from previous years, and I like it. I like that scheme a lot. For who and what I'm repping, I am repping on the hat Weston Olson, the 27 Sprint car. I visited his shop last night. He's changing up his scheme a little bit, but he's said he's getting his car stickered up, I think, Monday of this week. So he's pretty close to getting ready to go himself, and he's got a big schedule planned for 2026. And then the shirt is just a Dakota Speedway long sleeve shirt. I'm repping this because that's kind of the first races I'm eyeing to start 2026, the Man and Meltdown. I think that's likely based on the weather and my mentality. That's going to be the first races of the year for me. So I still got a couple weeks to finish up everything else going on in my life. And so that is who or what we are repping for this episode. And that moves right into a blast from the past with the Hot Sauce Hot Memory Rewind. And a shout out to Isaac Hot Sauce Sandro on the 12S IMCA Modified. Saw a sneak peek of his car. He's changing it up a little bit too, going a little bit darker, I think, if I remember correctly. So excited to see when that scheme gets fully unveiled. Be sure to head over to his Facebook page, 12S Racing on Facebook, and also check him out in the pits. He's got a lot of good snacks and food typically in his pit area, so be sure to stop on down, grab a bite, and have a chat with Isaac. And so thank you, buddy, for supporting us on the podcast.
Year 15 of
Oh,
racing. His
Yes.
15th year is coming up this season.
Good, solid number there, and nice to see Isaac behind the wheel for so many years. I wonder if he'll race the stock car a little bit this year, too.
Oh, I bet you he will. I'll bet you he'll be doing both again a little bit.
Okay, I got three selections for the hot sauce segment. John, you said you had a few. Jessup, did you have any?
I can.
Well, John, you go. Actually, I'll go first on mine while
Yep.
John and Jessup get theirs all put together. This one's a NASCAR one. I always like to throw out a NASCAR one in now. Usually because I expect Becca on here. But we'll start with this one. Who is this?
Is that Bobby Labonte?
I don't believe this was Bobby Labonte's scheme when he drove the 19. But you're very close. See, I remember this scheme particularly from the 2005 season in the fall race at Charlotte in the Busch Series.
Yeah, it wasn't in the Cup Series.
You have the right team that this driver is from.
PCK.
No.
I don't know.
This is actually one of your favorite drivers, Jessup.
Bush? Rowdy?
No. Do you remember who Bobby Labonte raced for in 2005 and who else was his teammate?
Mason, at that point, I was mainly focused on hockey.
Disappointing. John, do you know who it is now?
I'm pretty sure it's Smoke.
Yep, it is Tony
What?
Stewart. This is a Tony Stewart car.
When was he
And
19?
Which
he
series?
only yeah,
Oh,
he only ran a couple races that year and this was one of them. He was actually, I think, going for the lead in that fall Charlotte race, and he spun out and wrecked with just a handful of laps to go.
I worry about you kids.
I
Hey,
know, we're
Nice
just
day.
so intelligent.
Sure.
okay.
It's like
This
you guys
next
are racing.
one, this next one, I'm only requiring you to guess one of the cars, and it's going to be the car on top.
Jeff Nelson
Oh, very good.
from 2006.
Well, of course, you would know the year as well. I have no idea what the year was.
And it
Now,
looks like
Jessup,
Brown County Speedway.
I actually think this is.
Or is it Princeton?
I think it's Princeton because this is
Okay.
from Mark Anderson Images.
Recent.
He's been putting up a lot of throwback photos, and there's been a lot of fun drivers and fun names I haven't recognized. I don't remember who the 47 was, but I feel like that would be a Jessup approved scheme.
That's definitely Jessup approved.
You see, folks, numbers very recognizable. You got easy to read sponsors. You don't got too many things going on. It's not horrible. Very plain, very basic.
We
can
were
see
back in a simpler time, and back in 2006. The main car in the center is who we're shooting for here. John already, just based on the spurt, John already knows.
Go ahead, John.
Jason Vannekamp.
Wow.
You are correct. My first initial thought when I saw this photo was Spencer Johnson.
No, Bandicant, very strong in the street stocks back in the early 2000s.
You know what gave it away to me, John, was Vandy. How many people do we know who race with the nickname of Vandy?
Right, I guess, yeah. I probably
Very
could have
true.
found a better angle, but I think John was still gotten that right away. All right, those are my three.
Okay, I'll bring up mine.
Let me
Mine
give
are
you.
going to be from they're all going to be from, let's see here. They're all not from the same year.
Ooh,
They'll be
Hang,
close.
hang on. I don't know if I gave you permission.
What a surprise. I never get permission to do nothing.
all right.
I know.
John's. We'll go with this person.
Oh, Jessup, you're going to go next?
Yeah, you're in the middle of trying to find your, so I'm good.
Eric Pember.
Wow, good pull, John.
Would not have guessed that one.
That
Holy
was a.
smokes!
I thought I had you there. No, I'm trying to find some that you might actually have an idea on. Oh,
I
this.
can't remember
Here
where
you
this
go,
button
Mason.
is.
You should be able to get this one. John will get this one.
There we go.
John, let Mason go.
Mason, it's all you.
That's a Fagers.
Which one?
Um, I want to say it's Marshall.
Wrong.
Oh, it's Justin.
Justin.
Dang
Justin.
it.
I'll go for one more here. Ooh, this is a popular one.
You have permission now, John.
Oh, thank you.
Stinking zoom in their updates.
And
I
the
don't like it.
legendary number.
Is that Tony Barr?
That is Tony Barr. Good pull, Mason.
The QQ, that's the only dude I know that raced the QQ. I never realized he raced a late model, though.
Mhm.
We'll see if John can get this guy because I can't pronounce his last name.
Oh, that's Dave Turkowitz.
Yep.
There it is. Very good, John. And I will put mine away for today.
What happened to Dave?
I know. He kind of
I don't
disappeared.
really even see him around the track ever, if he's still involved with the racing or anything else.
And we will close the vault.
Oh, Jessup is closing the vault. This opens the door for me.
Yeah.
So now John will go to the Western Wanderer.
Are you sure about that?
No, but
That reminds me.
yes.
We were talking about the Western Wanderer earlier today at one of the shops I
Oh, that's
visited.
Adam Hensel.
Okay, Jessup, you got it right.
I have barely had time to look at that before he guessed that. Dang.
Okay, now if I hit the button here, tell me if this changes screens. You see the next car?
Yes.
Oh, this is a Duluth person. No, it's not. No.
Forest Lake, St. Paul sponsors Dave Reed? Oh no, it's a Gullickson.
Is that Andy?
I'm gonna guess
It's
Dan
wrong.
Gullickson.
Dan.
Okay, then it's Jim. Jim Gullickson.
That's Jim Gullickson. Which track,
All
by the
right.
way, guys?
This looks like Cedar
That's gonna be
Lake.
Cedar Lake.
It is Cedar Lake.
It's given away by the Somerset Collision.
This is a Jessup approved scheme.
Is uh,
And I mean, look at the race and rust on it. This is definitely Jessup approved.
the funny part is this is taken from 2024 in the local bomber division.
Oh, gosh. 56. Is it? I think this is a Jamestown photo, correct?
It is a Jamestown photo. This driver has had a very successful career.
Well, the name on the car says Dean, but I'm trying to think of like Dean. Maybe Dean Brecht?
No.
I'm out.
Is this?
This is Royce Jalowski.
What? Wow. Wow. Hey, Mason.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
not
Well, I
fair.
know he drove a 56 Street Stock, but I would not have guessed Royce based on the Dean being on the window.
I'm pretty sure he drove this bomber for somebody for many, many years, but he won a lot of races in this car in Jamestown.
Wow.
Plus he used to take this car over to Mandan too and run in Mandan. And then this car went to the weeds and came back out like 10 years later.
Dang.
Is that the Gray Ghost?
So,
Could be, you never know.
but yes, yeah, I wanted to find a Jessup approved scheme, so I found a Jessup approved scheme.
Yeah, you definitely
It's
found the
very approved
treasure.
because it's got somebody else's name on it.
And it's got used.
It's got used.
Jeez.
Is that a technical term there, John? It's got used.
It's a now a technical term. It's been used.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Awesome. Good selections for the hot sauce, hot memory rewind. So now we move into our track pack report where we're kind of going to discuss this week's some happenings for 2026. But we do have a new sponsor that has joined the track packers. We would like to thank Dean Egebron. I'm sure John knows that name. Jessup,
I
you might
do.
know that name as well. Runs
Mhm.
Paul Bunyan Mini Storage out of Bemidji, Minnesota. I want to thank him for jumping on board with us this year. So, speaking of track packers, if you have a lot of stuff to pack up, whether it's a small or large storage unit, or as Beck likes to say, large storage, Paul Bunyan Mini Storage can get you what you need for whatever size storage unit you might have for all your various trinkets and treasures that you may have. Give Paul Bunyan Mini Storage a call at 218 759 1064. Again, Paul Bunyan Mini Storage Center out of Bemidji, Minnesota. Thank you, Dean, and your whole crew for jumping on board with the podcast, and hope to give you a little bit of publicity and with the podcast and also with my personal video stuff as well. So, on our track pack report, so just kind of talking about some of the changes upcoming for this year. So not a whole lot of change on the western side of the state, besides maybe with the Southwest Speedway kind of getting some renovations for this year. Have you heard anything on their front on whether they're going to be racing more than just the mod tour? Or is it kind of just going to be a fix it up year?
I haven't heard anything else. Just I don't know if you talked to anybody at the car show at all about it,
No.
but I really didn't either. But I've just heard through, various maybe rumor mill or something else like that one too. I do know renovations are in the works from the county on the racetrack. And I know Mod Tour will happen this year, it sounds like there, but I haven't heard anything else, if anything's going to be live or not.
Gotcha. Well, at least they're getting some renovations fixed up because, of course, there was a little bit of uncertainty on, if people were going to take over the track, they're going to kind of just let the track go. So the fact that they're doing renovations at the Speedway means that there's going to be a future still down in Dickinson. So that's at least good to hear, at least from not just this year, but going forward for Southwest Speedway. Mod Tour's got a little bit of a change up this year. Jessup, do you want to talk about kind of the change up with the Mod Tour this year, since you're a little bit more into it than us other two?
We're going to run the tracks in reverse this year, Mason. We're starting everything backwards. We're going to go from Dakota Speedway to Southwest to Williston to Estevan to Nodak to Jamestown for championship night.
Now, to me, that actually wouldn't be a bad idea because a lot of those drivers that come up from like southern Minnesota and Iowa, it's kind of like on their way back. But that's not quite what the schedule is this year.
I don't know. There was one night that was right about it, though.
You were correct
There
on
was
one
one
night.
night. You were right about one night.
Maybe two, depending on how. I don't know. I'd
No,
have to think about
maybe
it.
maybe Estevan. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
No, not
Anyways,
Estevan. It would be Willis. No, there's none. Nope, only one. Anyways, with this leap year happening or whatever, the calendar being off, um, the
The
tour
4th of July
has
is
to
on a
start.
Saturday.
Yep, the tour is starting up in Nodak, and then it's going to go to Estevan, then Williston, then Dickinson, and then Dakota Speedway. And championship night will be at the Jamestown Speedway.
and that's on a
So it's a
Thursday or
nope,
Friday?
it's a Sunday through a Friday. So it's Minot on Sunday the 5th. Then it goes to Estevan on Monday. Tuesday is Williston. and that'll be on the 7th. The 8th is Dickinson on a Wednesday, like they typically are. Thursday is Mandan, and then Friday is championship night in Jamestown. So instead of a Saturday to Thursday, it's now a Sunday to Friday.
Gotcha. So it, like, gives travelers coming to the tour kind of like an extra day to get there in case they don't have they if they don't decide to race anywhere on Friday and Saturday around their local area. It gives them like the weekend to get up to the start of the tour up in Minot. However, if you're depending on you probably are just going to take the week off anyway. It gives them the weekend too to get back home if they don't decide to race anywhere on the way back. So interesting change up. I know for several years, probably 7, 8, 9 years ago, Minot did start the tour quite often. Before Jamestown got on the tour, I want to say kind of around that same time frame. And I think once Jamestown got back on the tour, that's when that first day kind of switched to Jamestown being the opener. Am I correct on that, John?
Yeah, you kind of are correct. And then also with the fact that with the way the tour has been developed, there has been a couple years that I know Jamestown has hosted championship night other than opening night, just with the way the calendar fell, very similar to like this year. So with it falling on the 4th, then it's going to be basically the same situation to where it'll be the Friday night championship for Jamestown. Um, Now it'll be kind of interesting too because right, a lot of tracks run on the 4th. I know Minot's going to have a race on the 4th. I don't know if they're running any mods or stock cars by
I
any
don't
means
think
on the
they are.
4th, but they usually run on the 4th of July.
They
Jamestown's
have
running on the
stock
4th of July.
eventually.
Do they have stock cars?
Yeah.
Oh,
So Minot's gonna have stock cars that night. I know Jamestown's having mods on the 4th. They're gonna run them really early in the program to get them done. Before the tour on that Sunday starts. And then obviously Jamestown will host the championship night on that Friday, and then they will have a regular show on that next Saturday, which is just part of basically their regular schedule. So yeah. So a lot of options for people to race throughout that whole week if they really want to. If you're running in a mod, for sure you've got plenty of options. Stock cars have plenty of options as well. So yeah.
yeah, and I know in years past when they've had races just before the tour, there's been several of those out of towners that have kind of stopped in to kind of get a good layout and maybe try some things out before the tour actually starts. So I could see that happening again, especially if they're going to be up here. Might as well get some racing in.
Oh, 100% agree with you, Mason. And it's kind of funny because I think last year it was going to happen too, because remember the 4th was on a Friday last year, and then the Saturday night was when the tour opened. And there was a lot of the
Yeah.
tour mod drivers that were over in Jamestown when it rained out with I think they had a little bit over 2 inches of rain in the matter of like an hour
Yeah.
over there in Jamestown on the 4th. I just remember that Tom Berry Jr. gave the best weather report down there right in front of the pit gate at Jamestown that night on that 4th of July.
Yeah. And the fact that it was like the track was like in great condition on that Saturday too, nice and smooth after that downpour the day before. I mean, that was a good turnaround.
Well, and it was funny too because Jessup and I were walking. I was there pretty early in the day, and the pits were pretty sloppy. The track was really sloppy to begin with, and then it just kind of, they let it dry out throughout the day, so it definitely dried out. But don't try to go in the infield at all because you are gonna sink. So I remember Jessup at one point had to go. If I'm not mistaken, Jessup, I think were you in the infield? Yes, you were. I think you were on the tower in the infield, and they had to make a little path for you to get to the tower in the infield. Otherwise, you weren't making it.
It's good to be needed.
You got
And
royal
just think,
treatment.
this is the one time that he wore his regular track shoes to the racetrack in Jamestown, and he didn't wear his boots, which he wore at the Stampede when it was also muddy. And you know what it was, Mason? Now it makes sense. The Wasp did not like the boots.
I was just gonna say that.
So, yep. So they were like, no more boots.
Well, let's sure if those wasps come again here.
Jessup, I'm pretty sure the Wasps actually showed you who was boss at the
Yeah,
Stampede.
multiple times.
I was on camera and I was getting stung. I'm like, this is unpleasant. This is still unpleasant. Go away.
Yeah, so that's the mod tour change up with a little bit of nuances on the back end and tail end of it, especially with racing. So a lot of racing taking place over that 7-10 day stretch. If we venture over to the other side of the state, a little bit of change, couple of changes there. Cheyenne.
We're not done. There's
Oh,
plenty of change going on over on the west side. We probably
go ahead.
discussed it
What am
already.
I missing?
We've got a lot of, national series coming over to visit us.
Oh well, yes.
We get to see
We are.
guys between the Nodak Speedway and the Dakota Speedway, and then we stole a race from the east side of the state. We got the non-wing nationals over at
Oh,
McLean County, and I saw did they just do some track work the other day over there? We're looking to
Yeah, it sounds like they moved some dirt around a little bit,
something like that. So
or they, or they kind of. I think it was they put maybe new dirt on the track and they pushed some of the older stuff off. That was, I don't know if it had like a lot of rocks or if it was just
yeah,
not good.
I don't know either, but I saw they were looking to get rid of some. So
yeah.
we're we're wheeling and dealing out on the west.
Yeah, and to add to that McLean County Post, I think they're going to have a different, like, some more overflow pit area for some of their bigger events. So, like, Non-Wing Nationals, Cole County Classic, because those pits can get pretty full on those nights. I know John's been up, and Jessup both have been up there for some of those busy nights, and those pits get full pretty quick. So, I think they're kind of doing some work to
The
kind of
way they
get
are.
some more pits
Besides
around the area.
the one area where it's almost where if it rains, it can be kind of a flood zone, but
Mhm.
Yep.
I think they're fine.
Yeah. So, I
Unless they
think,
start
yeah, if
putting
you
like
know
some
people looking
lights
for
up.
loads of dirt, that's where you can go get some over in Underwood. So yeah, we got some new series coming over. We got big events over at the various tracks. So a lot of stuff happening on the west side. Thank you, Jessup, for adding those in. On the east side, we have Cheyenne Speedway going back to Sunday nights versus the Thursday nights that they were at the last couple seasons. And I think that has been a pretty good change from the chatter I've heard. And sounds like the Fair Board is even more invested in the track than they have been in the previous years. So that's also a good sign for longevity of the Speedway down there. And then another kind of slight takeover, new promoting group over at the Red River Valley Speedway in conjunction with the Fair Board there. They just announced this week a name change to the Fix It Forward Speedway. So people that know it by Red River Valley Speedway, or I think I saw they called it Minn Kota Speedway years back, which I never knew about. Um, it created some interesting chatter, and of course, yeah, change is hard, but for me personally, if a sponsor comes forward and wants to rename the track, if it means longevity for the speedway, I'm all for it.
It's very much like and Jessup, you're probably maybe used to this, or kind of in the Minnesota area, to where there's a lot of tracks that are named based on sponsors.
Yep.
So it's not uncommon by any means.
Let's just be honest. We're still going to call it whatever we want to call it. So, like Proctor Speedway, got sponsored by Halver Lines.
Yep.
They always said Halver Lines. Everybody knew it as Proctor Speedway.
Yep.
Amsoil Speedway, or Head of the Lakes Fairgrounds Superior Speedway, got called Amsoil to what was it, Gondik Law.
Yep.
Now it's like Lake County Gondik Law Lake County Speedway now.
Yeah, something different.
Something like that. Yep.
I still know it as Amsoil Speedway.
Yep.
That
Yep.
was like 3 name
And
changes ago.
we're still gonna call it that. And as far as I know, you can call it fifths, 3/5, 4/5, a fifth. Still calling it Red River.
Well, and I can't remember. I think I was watching a vlog a few years back. I think it was with Mandy Pouch, and she brought up the fact that, like, out in the Midwest, we a lot of times call tracks by like the city that they're in. So like I'll go out to West Fargo versus going out to, like, I don't know, out there's like Baps and Portsmouth or Port Royal. That's the one I'm thinking of. But yeah, they call them by, like, they're actually, like, what if they're sponsor names, they call them by that. Whereas we call them like, oh yeah, I'm going to go out to Mandan. They don't say Dakota Speedway. I'm going to go to Mandan to race. It's kind of
Yeah,
different.
I don't really ever hear like, hey, I mean, some of the drivers will be like, hey, I'm gonna go out to Dakota Speedway. But a lot of people are gonna like, I'm heading to Mandan or I'm heading to Minot.
Mhm.
So something like that too. So it definitely is more of a city based anything else. Or I'm heading to Grand Forks. I do hear River Cities a lot. River Cities I do hear a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a different part of the country. You hear different things, and so I've just always been used to being like, "Oh, yep, just going to that city for racing,"
No,
and people pretty much know what you're talking about.
this is very similar to another incident in the state where one organization went from one name to another name, and its following and alumni all call it by the old name. For those who aren't from North Dakota, that would be the Sioux to the Hawks.
Yeah,
And the hidden reasoning that I've heard before is Hawks is short for how about we keep Sioux?
I've never heard that, to be honest. Wow, that's funny. But yeah, people still
But
call it the Sioux.
if you look in the, what is it, the Heritage Collection section on all the websites, you can still get Sioux apparel.
It's very popular, especially on this side of the state. Even like being in Fargo and Bison country, there's a whole bunch of UND Sioux hockey gear all over the place. So yeah, that's another good point. Yeah, we like to keep our traditions and our traditional names, and we'll see all sorts of names being floated around for different facilities or events. And yeah, I mean, I'll probably still call it Red River Valley on accident multiple times this year, but it's West Fargo to me for the
I
most
will
part.
do the same too and leave it the same
Yeah.
website.
Yep. But
Yeah,
yeah,
for me,
now
like you guys, it's always River Cities. I've always called it River Cities. I mean, oh my God, that's a caution.
we're
Uh,
talking about a different track, John.
no.
I know. I'm looking at pictures right now, and I'm on River Cities. It's Red River Valley. It's always going to be RRVS to me.
Yeah.
RRVR.
It is now Fix It Forward Speedway. So, all you announcers out there, including John, although Corey Litton's pretty good at keeping up to snuff on all that stuff around his area, so I think he'll do a pretty good job. He might slip up every now and then with Red River Valley, but it'll be fun to see how the change goes there. And they've already been doing a lot of work. I saw some major work to their concessions area, which I know Jessup is probably really liking that because anytime we talked about West Fargo, he ranted about their concession setup.
Not good.
Well, they're doing a whole bunch of changes. I heard I haven't watched the live video of their concession area, but they're doing a lot of work there. So
Look,
it's going to
I'm
look
not
way
asking
different the
for a
next time you
lot,
go there.
guys. I'm going to make it very simple. Whatever design you originally had that's in there right now, just tear that out. Whatever you do, just tear that out and change it because it's not working. I will go
I
eat
never,
anywhere else just to avoid the concession stand line.
I never had an issue, but I totally understand from what people have said. Hey, maybe we can go and be in the face of danger again this year at Red River Valley. Hey, there, I messed it up.
And with that, John, welcome back to the front row.
I'm back to the front row again.
This is about how all first races and first podcasts of the year, official
Yeah.
podcasts.
See, this is good practice though to get me to get people to say the right names with a threat of a caution flag.
So the key,
Yes, Mason, it's Fix
don't
It
say the
Forward
name.
Speedway.
You know, I wonder if they have a sponsor for their caution flag.
Oh, that's a good
You know, if
question.
only we had Cottingham Insurance.
You know, they're
They
at
have a
a new
new
location.
location, according to everybody but Becca.
And John drives past it every day.
Every day.
Poor Becca.
I should just stop right in and be like, would you like to sponsor?
Have you heard any other new changes across the state of North Dakota? I just wanted to highlight one change outside of the state before we moved on.
I don't really think any other changes that I've seen. I think everything else is pretty. I mean, McLean has released their schedule. Everybody's schedules are pretty much out except for Southwest, right? We just haven't really seen
Well,
Southwest from that one,
Nodak,
right?
Nodak's August is different.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
August All
So,
Stars, two shows
yeah.
with two classes getting 2,000 to win in each show. So
Yep.
those are bigger. So four memorial races on 2 nights. That's pretty cool.
And the reason why they did that too, because I was talking to some of the people that are really close to the Speedway, not direct board members, pretty close to the Speedway side. They have a big, I think it's a camper expo. Mason, do you remember that
Yes, I do
back when you
remember
were younger?
that. Yep.
That's coming back this year at the end of August. So I think
Oh,
that's 2 weeks. So that's why they have the cutoff. Like, here's the first 2 weekends of August that they're racing. And then I think they take over the fairgrounds after that.
Yeah, because I think Estevan is also racing a little bit more in those last 2 weekends of August in place of there's nothing going on in Minot, basically.
Correct. Yep, correct. So, but no, I thought that was pretty cool too that they put them both together. Um, because obviously, jam pack them and then yeah, and then get on to obviously they're gonna have the Camper Expo. So, it's to big money shows at the beginning of August before they hit the big Motor Magic at the beginning of September. So, that'll be their closeout of the season.
Yep. So no, another subtle change there too. I did, as far as scheduling goes. So like the Stampede's always on its same typical weekend. Did you see that the Bemidji Stampede is actually later this year? It's not on the same weekend as the
Oh, I
oh,
didn't
Tennessee
see
Stampede.
that.
Yeah,
is it the
correct.
same
Interesting.
weekend as Oktoberfest?
I think it's the following weekend. Let me check here again.
But you know what is changed? Hibbing added another race.
Oh,
That's the same weekend as Stampede and Punky Manor.
okay. Yeah, so the Bemidji Stampede is now the 3rd and 4th of October.
Okay.
And then Hibbing, if I can bring that up real quick. Uh, Facebook's not making it super easy to search them out.
Is it called like the Iron Range Rumble, Jessup?
I don't remember what it was called.
Yes, September 23rd through the
They've got a lot of different
26th.
things going on this year.
Yep, September 23rd through the 26th, the Iron Range Rumble.
I don't even know what that is. I haven't looked at any of that so far.
It's a new race.
And they have the Hot
Philippines.
Dish Nationals again, which I think they had last year. No? What was their. Didn't they have like one final race last year,
They
though?
had the Hot Dish Nationals or something like that. And then they raced two extra times at the end
Oh, okay.
because it was nice and we just wanted to keep racing.
Yeah. Which is not the case right now to start the year. It
You know,
is.
what's strange about this is, for at least me, maybe not for you guys, the season almost never started until mid to late May.
I was always used to starting at the very first weekend of May. That's what I always grew up getting used to.
I just, I like having April off.
There's still a lot of, especially for people that are in like the teaching profession and big in high schools and all of that, still a lot of activities that are even going well into May. So a lot of those racers, especially the young ones, may not be totally out to the track 100% for the first few weeks anyway. So once you get to that Memorial Day weekend, it's kind of like the first weekend you see pretty much your full amount of people coming to the track on a weekly basis. And so, yeah, I'm sure with this, well, latest storm that we got last week, that's kind of pushed everything back a week or two. So that helps out a lot of people, I'm sure. But I know there are a few tracks
Yeah,
that'll be itching to start
temperatures
next
don't
week.
look
Mhm.
good for at least another 2 weeks.
Well, looking at the forecast being in the high 30s next weekend, I mean, that's enough to keep me home because I'm like, I am not going to sit around for 5 hours in mid 30s once the sun goes down, too. It's like, no, thank you. Not to start the season out. So hopefully the week following is a little bit warmer.
Yeah, we could go up the week after that too.
No! You're making things challenging on my schedule for May then. If you push it back one more week, I have everything planned out to a T.
No, push it back to May. We don't need to be racing in April.
Well, we'll see once the next couple weeks roll around. The last change I wanted to highlight was down in South Dakota with Huron. Dakota State Fair Speedway coming back on a weekly basis. The big half mile back running with the Wissota classes. I think they have 13 events on the year. I'm hoping to get an interview with one of the promoters down there to kind of talk about their season. But nice to see that that track is back running on a weekly basis. Unfortunately, neighboring track Miller, I saw announced this last week that they are not running this year. So unfortunately, it came at the cost of Miller. So I don't know what the future holds for Miller, but a little bit of a change down in South Dakota. Have either of you two been down to Huron's racetrack?
I have been.
Oh,
Mhm.
of course, you've been down there for the 100, duh.
Yep.
I have
I've been down there once, and I definitely want to get back down there again. I've already talked with one of the promoters. They're like, oh, yeah, we'd love to have you down there. And I'm like, I'll try to get down there a couple times, but it's a 4 hour jaunt from Fargo itself. That is a long drive.
Yep.
And on a Saturday, when I usually have to get back to Fargo for church on Sunday morning, that makes it even tougher.
Yeah, it's a bit of a jaunt. I don't know. We'll see. If I ever get there, I get there. No real hurry. Would like to get out there for one of their tri-state late model shows.
Mm. Yeah, watching the tri-state late models there would be fun. They have some massive speed. The one time I was there, it was late models there were dang fun. Alrighty, so that is all for the Track Packer Report this week. And we will move on to our white flag segment and give a shout out to our other sponsor, Brody Karlsrud, in the B1 IMCA stock car, getting ready for the race season. I have to apologize to Brody. I've been meaning to come out to his shop to see how he's doing on his progress. I know he said he's got a different look or design to his car this year, so I'm excited to see if it's already been installed or if he's still kind of waiting a little bit and that next week to unfold. What, Jessup?
Yes, Jessup.
Jason, I sent you some insider information from Brody, and he's got a new car. It's going to look a little different this year, Mason. Go check our chat. I sent you guys the photos of it.
Yes, and I remember chatting with Brody via text, and he said he was going to have some words for you the next time he saw you. Yes, here we go.
All right, we're going to take a look here. Which one does he have up first? Ah, yes, the new model, the 2026 model.
It just looks so stupid.
Hey, I didn't come up with the new stock car designs. This is IMCA.
You know, part of me thinks that some person out there in like the body chassis land or whatever would be like, you know what, this actually might be something to look at. Oh, and then there's this one.
There's the one for the rough
This
tracks.
one is for this is for the rough tracks, the elbow up tracks. When they say things are about to get Western, Brody's ready.
Yeah, well, good luck to you, Brody, this year on your new design and new layout for the 2026 season. You can follow all his adventures in the exotic chassis designs that he has on Brody Karlsrud B1 Racing on Facebook or the Real Deal with B1 podcast. And so thank you, Brody, for your support on the podcast. And please have a nice long discussion with Jessup the next time you see him.
Yes, please do.
So, question for all of you before we get into the latest and greatest paint schemes. Who is your one driver to watch this year? Who are you keeping an eye on heading into 2026?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Honey shots.
He's one to watch. He's actually been doing pretty good as of late. We are on the second night of I-55. I did not see how he did tonight. Live results. Let me see if I can bring it up real quick.
11th to 3rd.
A
Oh,
lot of movement in the field tonight, though.
Mm-hmm.
good deal.
Mm-hmm.
That was, almost back-to-back podiums because he was in a podium with on the last restart, and I think he kind of messed up a
Finished
little bit.
fourth. Yep, he finished fourth last night.
And so,
17th to fourth.
okay. Oh, Buddy Kofoid won again.
Yeah, it was Kofoid, gravel, and then shots.
Nice. Yeah, Donnie's looked pretty good with the CJB race team so far in
Yes.
2026.
Yeah, his car's definitely got some get up and go, which has been nice to see.
My
So,
driver to watch
go ahead.
is Lindsey Hansen, actually, because he made a good, I think, a really good move for him to get into the IMCA modifieds after a few years in late models and picked up a few feature wins right away. And with having a little one, I don't know how much racing he's gonna do. He always jokes that he hasn't worked on his car, so come May he'll probably get things going. But I think he'll be probably one of your top IMCA modifieds, especially out in the eastern part of the state. I think he's already himself up in the top of that conversation. So he's my driver to watch.
You know who one of my drivers is to watch this year? Gabe Deshaw in the mod.
Mhm.
I'd be very curious to see how he does in the mod since he was really one of the top runners in the IMCA Sport mods.
I don't think it'll take him long to find the front of the field in the modifieds.
Same. I don't think it's going to take him too long, and I think he's going to be a threat.
Well, I think one thing that helps him too quite a bit, and I think a lot of the young drivers that are successful right away, he gets a lot of shows in and he travels a lot. And so he gets some good seat time, and so he knows what the car does and what he likes and what it doesn't like. And so he gets used to whatever car he's driving pretty quick. And so I'm sure he'll be racing 2 to 4 times a weekend however the schedules play out. There are some good drivers to watch. Any other honorable mentions or anyone else that comes to mind right away?
Been pretty quiet over here.
It's been pretty quiet, yeah. It's been really quiet from a driver slash new class and everything else perspective. I mean, there's definitely a lot of rumblings going around about drivers changing classes or drivers with brand new cars, but based on looking at the car show, we had about 20 cars in the car show, so not a ton of cars by any means in the car show. So, um, a lot of surprises I think as we get to test and tune as well as opener.
So something John and I were talking about a little bit before Jessup got on. So especially up in the Minot area, there's a lot of new IMCA hobby stocks that have been jumped from the Sport Compacts. So there's going to
A
be quite a
lot.
few cars in that division.
Yeah, I think the hobby stocks up north are gonna have quite a few.
Yeah, there's
So,
there's
and some
several
fresh
new.
blood and talent. Hmm.
So that's good to see drivers moving up into different classes there. So from there, who or what have been some of your latest and greatest paint schemes in the last couple weeks?
Okay, so Mason brought some of them up, but um, I'll take over a couple here. I really, I really like Cole Schill's scheme this year. I know you guys kind of think I'm kind of maybe a little bit off kilter on that one because it's not a whole lot different, but I do like the gold with the pink back. I think with the pink back on Cole's car, it really is going to be sharp and it stands out a little bit. This picture right here, it does it justice for the gold. It doesn't do it justice for the pink. The pink on the back really stands out with the whole outline of the pink with the door on top. So I like Cole's this year. I really do like that. I like that they added a little bit extra flavor and a little bit extra touch into that scheme.
What other paint schemes you got, John?
Well, I'm gonna do one first, and then you guys take the next one, and then we'll go back.
Okay, I need to think of one off the spot here. We're gonna go with Maddie Swenson's Midwest Modified out of Alexandria area. She's got a nice pink, black, and blue scheme. Always one of my favorites when I go over there to see this car up and close in person. I think it looks pretty good again this year. So hopefully she has a lot of success in 2026 with a sharp looking ride. Jessup.
Well, I guess I really like Eric Malik's stock car this year.
Oh yes, that was. Oh, I have to
Hmm?
scroll all the way up for that. Hang on. Okay,
Those cars are
here
just
is Eric
these
Malik's car. Definitely bright with the orange.
four colors: orange, blue, black, white. Simple.
Very, yep, very true. limited colors, which definitely helps keep things consistent. John, your next one.
I like Cody Laney's mod for 2026.
Mhm.
Oh, yes. Where have I saved that one?
I like the little change in the color scheme because Cody's had about the same scheme the last about 3 years now. And this one's been a nice little subtle change.
Yeah, that five, that bold yellow number really pops out. And yeah, like kind of like Jessup alluded to, it's only just a few colors.
I like the way that the red though is basically kind of the primary, but the white kind of offsets it, but it's not over dominating white.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
you got
nice.
the yellow stripe down the middle, which is completely new for Laney on this car. So yeah, so I think this looks really nice. I think the body style is really sharp in this car.
Yeah, it looks really, really clean. Speaking of clean, my next one, I'm actually going to go up the road a bit from me to Harwood and show Cole Schill, or not Cole Schill's, Cole Gresseth's scheme. Not a ton of like activity as far as the paint scheme goes, but I just like the simplicity of it, and I like the different color orange with the blue. I think it looks very nice and clean. And I'm sure he's poised to have another very solid year. He's coming off of, gosh, dang near 30 wins in 2025.
Yep.
So he'd probably be another driver to watch just to see if he can match what he did last year. With the way the kind of the tracks have laid out, because he would race Thursdays in Lisbon, Fridays he kind of ventured either the Grand Forks or Fergus, Saturday Jamestown. There's no longer so street stocks at Buffalo River on Sunday since they're now mostly IMCA. So I don't know what his Sunday plans are. Maybe that might Sundays now Lisbon.
Now
So
Lisbon. Yep.
so it'll probably just be down to just 3 nights a week versus four some weeks.
Yeah, because Thursdays I think he might maybe hit Wishick a couple times.
Maybe, but that's a haul from here.
That's a haul on a
Win.
Thursday.
You need to win. A win's a win.
That's because for me it's 2.5, maybe a little over 2.5, and well with the trailer and he's a little further north, that probably is pushing 3 hours on a Thursday. Like, I don't know if I'd be making that jaunt every time.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I would.
Jessup, who's next?
Carson McCarl.
Carson McCraw. Do I have that one?
Yes, you do. I sent it to you.
Okay.
2KS sprint car,
Oh.
gold and black and red one.
Oh, there we go. Thank you. Carson McCarl. So he races down in Knoxville mainly, correct?
Yep.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Makes me think of Craig Delansky back in like 2008 time frame.
Yep.
I'm guessing it's the same team.
When when we discussed this, you said immediately you thought it was Austin Pierce's car.
He did.
See,
Yes.
the thing is, we were in Grand Forks at the time, so of course my mind went to Austin Pierce.
I don't know if it was back that far, but yeah, okay.
We went up to Grand Forks for monster trucks, and he shows me this picture, and I'm like,
Is it
oh
that
yeah,
far
Grand
back?
Forks, Austin Pierce. It
I
makes
don't
sense.
recall it being that far back, Mason.
John, you got another one?
Oh yes, you showed the car earlier. The Fleck Racing 76 machine.
Oh, I was gonna pick that one for my next one, and I had to queue it
I
up, so
know. I stole you from it.
there you go. That is sharp looking.
I do like
There's
the way that that pink is.
the white mud plugs. They kind of add a nice little touch to it. I would love to see it with white mud plugs at full speed because I bet that looks pretty dang cool.
It probably will look really cool.
Oh, great!
But
Now I
yeah,
got
Braden Fleck's street stock is really nice this year.
yeah. Now I gotta. I'm gonna steal. I'm gonna do a street stock as well, but I'm gonna steal this one from Becca and Jessup. Even though it's Viking colors, and I'm not a Vikings fan, Jaden Gannett, who's also making a change from the Midwest mod to the street stock, has a nice looking car for
I would
2026.
agree.
Just needs to put some air in that right front tire, and he'll be all set to go.
Yep.
And also, something I've noticed when I've gone to these shops, the cars become tables.
Oh yes,
Yes, they do.
They become tables very, very quickly.
all that work to wrap it in. Let's just pile stuff up on the new wrap.
All right, Jess, have you got one more? I have one for Becca, even though she's not here.
I'm gonna say, um, the Martins two legend cars
Oh,
against
yep, we got
Libby and Casey.
Casey and I got Libby. So, yeah.
You'd have to get up close, but there's a lot of fine detail to them.
So here's Libby's. So she's transitioning from the slingshot division into the legend this year. There is a lot of detail in that.
Uh-huh.
And then
Which, in
Casey.
this case, since there's minimal sponsorship, it actually works.
And Casey's been keeping with the Scooby Doo theme of the last few years, but kind of just enhanced it a little bit more for this year.
Yeah, it's a lot more detailed.
Yeah, quite a bit. Whoever designed that put a lot of work into that.
Uh-huh.
Now, the one I know that Becca really likes, and this actually just got revealed today on my venture out to race shops, is one of our loyal listeners, KCU Satis. So last year he had a Rusty Wallace themed car with one of. He didn't race it a ton last year, but this year he's going with a Jeff Gordon theme with his street stock, and that is the finished product that just freshly got wrapped on this Saturday.
That is a new
Pretty
body
solid
style
job.
for him.
What's that?
That is a new body style for him.
That is probably the thing that probably tripped me up the most besides the scheme was the
Hmm.
body style. So that's gonna. How many times do you think if he gets charged with a caution? We were talking about this a little earlier today, him and I. How many times are we going to say 24 to the back versus 2U? He said if they say 24 to the back, he's not going to the back.
And then
Oh boy.
I'll bring the black flag out, and I will warm this one up for Mr. Eustace.
And then you
Yep.
could say, hey, he gave Jeff Gordon the black flag,
Yes,
Screw 'em.
it's true.
which is probably warranted way more times than he probably got in his entire career. But that's besides the point.
Is this coming from a Mark Martin fan?
No, not at all.
Oh, sounds still like bitter grapes.
I mean, at least he didn't, from what I recall, bump Mark Martin out of the way for a win like he bumped Rusty Wallace out of the way multiple times.
Yes, multiple times for a win.
But you know
Should
what?
have just been black flagged.
Turnabout's fair play. Rusty should have punted him a few times too.
Oh, he did it, Richmond.
Well, he should.
Oh, yeah, and he junked Gordon that night.
Oh yeah, he junked him big time that night.
And then he made Gordon so angry Gordon decided to win like 13 races that whole year.
Yes.
It's
So
pretty decent.
yeah, that didn't quite work out probably as Rusty planned.
But if he would have just had the chase, I don't think he would be a four-time champion.
Hmm. It would be interesting to look back to see how the final 10 races would play out back in
You
those
know
years.
what? There's a thing that we can do. We'll just go to Chat GPT.
Oh, gosh. While he's looking that up, any
Which
closing
one
thoughts
is
before we start to wrap up the episode? We're going to get set to maybe see some tests and tunes maybe this upcoming weekend, depending on weather.
Yeah, hopefully soon. I mean, if not this weekend, maybe the weekend after that we'll be able to hopefully start seeing some cars on the racetrack or some tracks dry enough to where we can start seeing at least a little bit of racing action. So it all depends on weather. We'll see, because I mean this weekend's pretty nice. I know it's supposed to get cool again next week. And then hopefully after that it gets nice enough to where it stays, above freezing at nights, stays solid during the day, and to where, it'd be comfortable for people to be in the grandstands and cars to be on the track.
Well,
Yeah, if we were racing tomorrow or like Monday or Tuesday, I think it's supposed to be like 70s around the state and around the region. I'm like, dang, that'd be good racing weather.
Supposed to be really nice tomorrow. Yeah.
got bad news, Rebecca. ChatGPT says he probably would have won two, maybe three titles instead of four.
Oh, see,
Darn. What a bummer.
Well, this brings up an even better question.
Would Mark Martin have won any with the chase back in those years?
Would Mark Martin?
I would just rub salt in the wound more. Maybe he would have finished second more. Maybe that would have been the thing.
Oh, this is not going to be good for Mason, or maybe it will be really good.
I don't think Mark Martin didn't really finish out the season overly strong from
Oh,
what I remember.
oh no. I'm sorry, buddy.
No
Most
dice.
realistic projection says still zero.
Well, I mean, it doesn't. I'm already been hurt enough as a Mark Martin fan. That doesn't hurt me anymore.
Well, we're going to add one more person here just for John. Let's see how many Rusty would have.
I don't think any because Rusty was not good towards the end of the years.
93, I feel like he would have.
Yeah, 93 he won. Didn't he win like 10 races or 11 races that year?
Yeah, but he finished second in the points. I think he
Hit
had a
Earnhardt that
comeback,
year.
but
One or
Mhm.
two. Very close to, yep, not changing much.
Hmm.
well,
This
at least he's
is
got a
Oh,
championship to his name.
I wonder about Hamlin. Oh, wait.
You gotta just drive the knife in deeper, don't you? I'll just turn it a little bit more. yeah.
Just start turning it.
Anyways, that'll do it for episode 2 of season 5 for the Track Packers. As always, be sure to like, share, and comment and let us know if you want to be a part of the Track Packers as far as a driver interview. Let us know. We'd love to have you on the show. Thank you to our sponsors, The Real Deal with B1, Brody Carlsrud, Paul Bunyan Mini Storage out of Bemidji, and Isaac Hot Sauce Sandro. Again, the weather is hopefully going to be turning in our favor, so hopefully in the next week or two, we'll see you out there packing the track.